There are 4 categories to the Ready for Rigor framework: awareness, learning partnerships, information processing, and community of learners and learning environment. I have chosen one goal from each of these categories to focus on in my future classroom. Within the awareness category, I must focus on recognizing cultural archetypes of collectivism and individualism. To do this, I will include both group work and individual work in my lessons. Zaretta Hammond states that collectivistic cultures much prefer group work because they value community over everything. And she also says that the students from individualistic culture would prefer individual work because their culture embraces self-growth and independence. I prefer individualism because I'm an introvert. I like to be myself, work by myself. I like to be the boss. Group projects aren't my favorite thing, but I can understand why they are necessary. The world runs by group work. You can't avoid it. And so, in order to be the best student that they can be, I need to include both group work and individual work in my lessons because that's how the world works. In the learning partnerships category, I need to take the time to take responsibility to reduce students' socio-emotional stress from stereotype threats and microaggressions. To do this, I need to observe myself, my words, my teaching styles, my actions, in order to become more aware of my implicit biases and curb them to reduce any microaggressions I may be exhibiting in the classroom. Hammond states that microaggressions are subtle, slight snubs or insults which cause the amygdala to be on alert. When the amygdala is on alert, the student is unable to feel safe or comfortable in the classroom, which makes it extremely hard to learn anything. Now, preschoolers are sensitive. They can pick up on a lot of little behaviors that you may be doing that you aren't aware of. And this can turn a microaggression into something much larger. The students will not be able to work or learn if they believe they're being attacked, especially by their teacher. And it's my job to make them want to learn, want to be at school and know more about the world. And I can't do that if they feel they're being attacked by me. My goal in the information processing category is to provide students with authentic opportunities to process content. I will give my students many opportunities to speak about the cultures from which they come. And by doing this, I will be embracing their funds of knowledge and using the knowledge to make connections to the curriculum. In preschool, we learn the alphabet by using American objects, i.e., A is for apple, B is for bear. And in my classroom, I want to change that up. I'm going to ask my students for objects from their culture that begin with the letter we're learning. This way, they can create schemas, which Zaretta Hammond states are shortcuts in the brain that help with interpreting information. They will make connections with the objects and now the letter. And as we learn the alphabet together, the students and me will all be learning new things about new cultures as we go along. In the community of learners and learning environment category, my goal is to create an environment that is intellectually and socially safe for learning. In order to do this, I need to be aware of what activates and deactivates my students' amygdalas. I will create rules and routines that create a sense of belonging and safety in the classroom so that their amygdalas will stay deactivated. Hammond tells us that the amygdala only has 4 thoughts when it is activated: fight, flight, freeze, or appease. And none of these are congruent for learning. A classroom needs to be a safe space, otherwise you won't get any learning done. In every classroom that I've ever been taught, there has been an environment where I felt safe and I wanted to learn because of that. And that is what I want for any of my students and all of my students. These are 3 words that I hope will describe me as a teacher: empathetic, committed, and patient. Empathetic because I will never disregard my students' feelings. I will always try to uncover the deeper meaning behind them. I will do my best to be someone that they can talk to, and this will hopefully develop a relationship between me and the student. I will be committed to them. I want to give my students the best education that I'm able to, and I want them to know that I'm devoted to our relationship to them and that I'm always going to be on their side. If I can show them that I'm committed, I will teach them to be more independent learners and to have a growth mindset. And finally, patient. This is a goal that I'm still working on, but it's certainly something that every preschool teacher needs to have, because if you explode with frustration at any little thing, then your trust with the student will be broken. Your relationship will be demolished, and that is not something you want. Their amygdalas will be activated, and there will be nothing you can do to solve the problems anymore. To be patient is to be level-headed and understand that there are other things that are more important than this one incident, and you need to keep that in mind. And hopefully I will be able to when I am a preschool teacher. One of the many instructional strategies that I will use in my classroom is call and response. Hammond writes that call and response activates the students' reticular activating systems, turning on their attention. Preschoolers have short attention spans. The call and response system will help me to bring them back to the task at hand when their mind starts straying. I can use call and response at the beginning of lessons, when we need to bring the class together after a distraction, when playtime is finished, and so many other times throughout the day. The standard I chose for myself at the beginning of the semester was Standard 2, differentiates instruction to meet all students' needs in the classroom. And the goal that goes with it was I can identify students' needs for differentiation. I chose this goal because the schools I grew up in were not very diverse, and so I don't have much experience with differentiation in the classroom. I will certainly need this information if I'm ever employed in a diverse school in the future. To achieve this goal, I'm creating a list of diverse and differentiation strategies with descriptions and examples. Then, once I'm in a diverse classroom, I will keep a list of which strategies work in the class and which ones do not work with this particular set of students.